Hello YouTube! I am Pinstar and this is Pinstar Plays Super Auto Pets. So, this is a little game that's been out for a while. It's actually a free-to-play game on Steam and mobile. There is a paid component to it, but it's not like a scummy paid component. Essentially, what this game is it's an auto battler where you pick a team of animals, each with their own special abilities, and they duke it out for a round, and then you go back to the store, improve your team, and try to, get 10 wins before you get 4 losses. It's both simplistic but also complex. It hits that sweet spot out there. So I figured I'd do a couple of runs for you, see how you guys liked it. So as far as like the paid aspect, there's 2 different groups of animals that you can play with. These are all animals that can appear during the game. The free-to-play one has its own group of animals, and then there's a whole different, well, not completely different, but there's a significant difference to the expansion pack. But that being said, you can play with the free-to-play one, and you only ever play other people who are using this pack. And then you can switch over to the paid pack if you want to, and you only play against people who play that pack, so it's not pay to win. Is what I was trying to get at there. So let's start off with the free-to-play pack, and let's dive in. I'll explain the mechanics as we go. Okay, so every round you get 10 gold to spend. By default, there's things that can modify that as you go along. And every round you get a shop, and a shop will have a certain number of randomly generated animals and food. Now, everything in the shop, almost everything in the shop, will cost you 3 gold to buy. You can either buy food to buff an animal, or you can buy new animals to add to your team and combine. Also, yeah, these hats are just a cosmetic that I have, that I purchased with in-game currency, not even like, real-life cash. I don't tend to do that for currencies. The other thing you can do is re-roll your shop for the cost of 1 gold. So, here in this first round, and here we have each of our different friends here, our different things. So, ants, when they faint, they'll give a random friend +2 attack, +1 health. And there's 2 of them available. There's also mosquito here. Start a battle, deal 1 damage to a random enemy, which can be useful depending on what they hit, but it's not guaranteed because it's a random enemy. And then here, the honey. Give an animal a honeybee, which means it will summon a 1/1 bee after they get knocked out. Very useful, but not necessarily for the first round. So one other mechanic here that's very indicative to auto battlers is if there's something in the shop that you want, but you don't want to buy it just now, but you don't want it to get rolled away when you re-roll, you can freeze it. So I'm going to keep this honey around, click on it, and freeze it. So that way, if I re-roll the shop, that honey is still going to stay the honey. Now granted, it occupies the spot, so a new food item will not generate in its place. I'm going to buy the 2 ants. Ants are really good early, and also we can eventually combine them. If you combine 3 animals of the same type, they go to a level 2. Combining animals gives them higher base stats, and also spawns a unit that's a higher tier. See all these little dice number 1s? Right now we're only in tier 1. So only tier 1 animals and tier 1 food will appear. And after a couple of rounds, we enter to tier 2, and then 3, all the way up to 6. And stuff gets more and more powerful as the game drags on. Alright, so we have 4 gold here. I'm not really excited about a mosquito, but we can roll once and then spend our last 3 gold on 1 more animal. A pig and 2 crickets. Alright, so the crickets, they kind of come, they're weak. They're only a 1/2, but they kind of come with their own bee. A pig is a 2/2, but you can sell it later on for an extra gold. Normally, if you wanted to sell an animal, you'd only get 1 gold back. This thing's worth 2. I'm going to take the pig for the gold investment here, because he's decent, especially once buffed by these ants here. Alright, we spent all our money. Also, this is asynchronous multiplayer, so when I hit end turn here, we're going to fight a random team. Now, that team is actually a real team that was generated by another player of the game, but it's not dependent on them being online right this second. So they're not going to necessarily see the fight pan out against them, but only the results of the fight matter to me, not to them. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, we also got to name our crew here. You get 3 random, first names and then 3 random other names here. This has no bearing on your performance. This is just for funsies. So I think we're going to be the disgruntled organisms. That works about right. Versus Mist the Withering Bamboos. A couple of different things. This is an auto battler here. So what happened here is our fish hit our ant, He died and buffed our pig. Now the next ant is squaring off against this rather powerful fish, and since he's got a 2 attack, he's got a 2 health, they're gonna kill each other. Bam. But now that gave another buff here. So now we got this beefed up pig, and he should be able to take out the rest of their team just fine. Bam, wha-bam, and because I killed all of their guys and I had at least one survivor, we won the round. The goal of each run is to get 10 wins before you get 4 losses. If that had ended where, both of our guys killed each other and nobody had anyone left, it would have ended in a draw. No wins gained, but no losses incurred. All right, so now we get our next shop. Ooh, I do like me some ducks. So what ducks do is they beef up the shop later on if you sell them back, especially if you can combine them. They can give a shop a really good thing. So ducks are another future investment type deal here. I'm going to buy 2 of these ducks, hopefully rolling a 3rd. Let's re-roll here. Aha, okay. So we could go up to a level 2 ant. The otter's another thing. You buy it and they just instantly give a random friend a permanent +1/+1. But again, it's random. They might hit someone on the team whom we're not interested in getting that buff. I think I want to buff the pig. So we're going to combine them, and now the pig's a 3/3 instead of a 2/2. I do want this ant, though, so we're going to freeze him. So that way he doesn't get randomly re-rolled. Do I want to keep our honey around? Probably not. Yeah, we can unfreeze the honey. We don't need that now. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll buy 2 animals and then put a honey on the 3rd. But in this case, it made more sense to buff up the pig. In fact, what I really want is these ants I want them to buff the pig. I want the pig to get nice and, I'd say beefy, but porky, I guess, would be the proper term. So the ducks can be in the front as sort of like cannon fodder. All right. Actually, I'm really good about this matchup here because my duck is going to take out this ant. Not so much with the fish, but now my ant can take out their fish. I wish you didn't buff the other because that was a waste of their buff. Yeah. And then their beaver lives. So this is going to be a loss. That's okay. All right, now we're at tier 2. So tier 2 animals now exist. I was hoping we'd get another duck. All right, well let's combine the ants. We buy this ant because here's the other thing. We're at tier 2. If you combine and level up an animal, you get a random member of a tier higher in your shop. So if we do that, now we have a badger. Feint, deal attack damage to adjacent enemies. That's actually not too bad as sort of like a last resort one. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sell our 2 ducks. Because watch what this happens here is that's going to permanently buff all the animals in the shop. We've got some pretty decent animals in the shop. So we sell the duck. Everyone's base stats go up. Sell the duck. Base stats go up. Now we buy them. Doesn't cost me any extra because we've bought them or because they're higher tier. Everything is 3 gold. We've got 9 gold. Handy that. So let's buy a spider. He spawns a random tier 3 as a 2/2 when he dies. Very handy. The flamingo, when he dies, gives the 2 friends behind a temporary +1/+1. Very handy. And then we had our badger. Badger's really good. What I really actually want to do is I'm going to freeze one of the honeys here. Because what you want is a badger is good at taking units with him when he dies. So you put him at the end, you put a bee on him, the bee sticks around, and if that's the last thing alive, then you win the combat. So we're going to put the badger in the back here. It's also a 7/6, and this early on a 7/6 is nothing to be sad about. So I'm actually gonna put the ant back here because I want the ant to buff the badger here. All right, that's an unfortunate trade right there. That kangaroo is gonna get a little scary. Well, no, we can take it down. We get a random 2/2. And yeah, we don't even have to resort to the badger, who becomes an 11/8. But that's only, unfortunately, a temporary buff. All right, so, ooh, a swan. I do like me a swan. I think we're going to, as much as I want to wait around to get a 3rd pig, I think it's time we sell the pig. We get ourselves a swan, who gives us an extra gold at the beginning of every turn. So instead of starting with 10 gold, we start with 11, thanks to this swan. Now I think we honey up the badger. And honey badger don't care. So that gives us even more insurance that even if our badger dies, take something with it, or at least assuming they have 7 or less health, it'll take it with it. Where do I want this flamingo? I kind of like this flamingo where it is right now. All right, we have 6, but nothing else I really want to buy, so I'm going to roll. Meat on the bone is very useful to give guys some pretty nasty attacks here. What it does is it basically lets them hit for 5 more, but it doesn't actually add it to their attack stat, so other animals that depend on the attack stat won't factor the meat bone into it, but it still makes them hit like a truck, especially in the early game here. I think I'm going to give it to the swan. I do want that thing hitting hard because it's got a decent health. Shrimp, this is yeah, when you sell friends, there are certain strategies where you're constantly cycling animals in and out of your team, and that sometimes can be worth it if you have the right supporting ones. We don't really. A pill. So this thing's an interesting beast. I don't want to use it right now, but I might want to. What this does is it basically any animal that has a feint ability, and we have 3 of them. We have the flamingo, the spider, and the ant here. If you pill them, that causes them to die, and they permanently perform their feint ability. So we would give a random friend a permanent +4/+2. Or get a permanent random tier 3 animal as a 3/3, or permanently give the 2 friends 1/1. So I think I'm going to actually freeze this pill. I think I'm going to take out my ant with this, because we could definitely buff something with it. And another swan, let us freeze that. The horse is good for animals that summon other things, so horse spider would be good, but it's a little late to get into horse, because it's a tier 1 unit. Dog also likes things that summon other things. Maybe we want to maybe we want to get a dog, but even then, I'm not really that committed to a things that summon other things build, and it's a little late for our dog here. So I don't know if I'm going to commit to the dog, but we'll think about it. We definitely do want another swan, because we want to level this swan up. All right, versus the cheesy mouths. All right, I am really happy that I have a 5 attack here, because we can take out a couple of things here. Now this fish is, and he gets a turtle. Turtle puts a layer of armor on them, so I'm going to do 0 on that hit. At least we can kill it with the meat on the bone there. Those 2 take him out, makes my badger huge. Badger makes short work of the dodo. Victory! Alright, next tier up. So now tier 3 animals are available. Sheep is, if we wanted to go really heavy into the things that summon other things build, that is absolutely a possibility. But I think it's time for this ant to go, and he goes to my badger. Alright, so it looks like the badger's sticking around for a while. We are going for the badger finale here. Now, the other question is, what do we want to play in its place? Again, I don't really have a good thing. I do like rabbits. Trust me, I really like them. When a friend eats shop food, and shop food like this apple here just is a permanent buff. This would give whoever ate that food another +1 health on top of it. Which if you do that a lot, if you buy a lot of shop food, there are a lot of builds that like getting that. So, you know what? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a swan. I'm going to freeze the rabbit because I like the rabbit, and I'm going to roll. See what else shows up. Salad is really good with rabbit too because the rabbit gives its buff to each of them. I might want to lean into a food build here. All right, so we're going to merge the swans. We're going to buy a rabbit, and then we're going to buy the salad and let the buffs get distributed randomly. Boom, boop. And then each of them, so each of the salad gave them each +1/+1, and then the rabbit, on top of it, whoever got the +1/+1 got another +1 health. So now our badger's up to a 12/10, our spider's up to a 5/6, and yeah, I'm happy with how those buffs are shaking out. I don't feel the need. The cupcake gives a +3/+3, but it's only temporary. The other types of foods are permanent buffs, but that one's temporary. The disgruntled organisms versus the bear muffins. All right. Our buffers take out each other. That is a scary turtle. That's garlic armor. It's damage reduction of 2, which is why I didn't kill him there. And why I didn't kill him there. And why, yeah, that turtle did a lot of damage. But our badger should be able to mop up here. There we go. We still actually haven't had to use the badger's ability. It right now is just a giant stat stick, which is fine by me. Ooh. Oh, baby, do we have some good things here. Okay. Okay. So the turtle, when it dies, it gives the friend behind it melon armor. Very handy. The camel, every time something hits it, it gives the friend behind it +1/+2. So this one we want to give a lot of health. Guess what? We got a rabbit. So we can start shoving food down its gullet and making it tankier and then beefing up something up behind it. Yeah, hurt, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Is there anything, nothing specifically? I mean, we could just use the camel to uber buff up the badger. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think it is time we sell our flamingo. He's been good to us, but I think we need to make room. You can only have 5 slots of things. So we're going to put the camel up here. And we're going to give the camel garlic armor, which is not only going to give it some damage reduction, but also trigger the rabbit to make him a little tankier. Let's reroll the shop. Because, yeah, the ox is another one. Every time the friend ahead faints, but nah, doesn't quite work. Ooh, another rabbit. Excellent. Actually, no. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to freeze the rabbit because I want to buy the food and keep buffing the camel. Because the bigger that we make the camel, the bigger the badger is going to get by proxy. And the camel really wants just a lot of freaking health. That's all it really wants. We do want to get the rabbit so we can eventually do the upgrade. And if we get any more rabbits on the rerolls, not feeling those. Ooh, a third swan. Yes, and a salad bowl. Definitely freezing that. Okay, let's go for it. All right, good. Just take out their bink. Do not take out you, but I do take out you with the 2/2. Take you out. Take you out. Ox is going to hurt. Ox is going to hurt, but he's not going to one-shot my camel, which is the important part. He is going to 2-shot it, though. Take you out. And our bee just barely doesn't have enough beefiness to kill him. So, second defeat. But that was a close one. I am still extremely confident in our team here. All right, let's load up the swan so we can actually get a tier 5 online. Shark. Every time a friend faints, gain +2/+1 temporarily for that battle. Useful if we had a lot more things like spider, but I don't think we're really in for a spider build, so I don't think shark really works. You know what? I'm going to do something a little risky here. I'm going to sell my spider, because I think he's used up his usefulness here. I'm going to buy a second rabbit here. We're going to trigger the salad bowl, and both of the rabbits should shell out some good buffs for whomever gets them to keep beefing them up. And then, you know what? We're going to combine the rabbits, and I'll buy the shark for now, but we're probably just going to sell it back. It's still a good thing. You really want him in the very back, but the badger also wants to be in the very back, which is why I think it's kind of an anti-synergy. The squirrel would fill the shop with food, but then I would have to freeze everything and wouldn't really be able to take animals next time. So not really feeling that play. Plus he's only a 2/2. The disgruntled organisms versus the unwashed minerals. All right, we got that. Yeah, that's a scary peacock. They get stronger every time they get hurt. That's going to one-shot my camel, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this one. And yeah, the bee is going to soak up my badger's death attack, which unfortunately means that the monkey gets to take out my bee. That's all right. All right, good. Level up the rabbit for, a cow. Cow gives us free food, and that is excellent. Now we can actually start beefing up our thing. And the rabbit now that it's level 2, it gives 2 health every time you feed stuff. This is a fantastic synergy. Get rid of you, shark. You didn't really do too much. Do we want to buy the salad bowl or because this is going to replace the 2 food items. I think I want to buy the pear and give it to the camel just to guarantee. Although the salad bowl would be nice, just to divvy out the health up to pretty much everything. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna salad bowl it. Oh, you gave it to who I wanted you to give it to. Now we lay down the cow. We get free milk, and now we give the milk to the camel. And that is going to be a lot of permanent buffs. We're up to a 920 with garlic armor on it. This cow does not need to be... Yeah, we can go back to the badger having its rightful place in the back. I mean, I'm not expecting the cow to do much, but the cow is there just to give us the milk. Deer summons a bus after it dies. Again, I'm not leaning on a summons things build. It's too late for a dodo. I think I'll freeze the pear because it's a good food item. Alright, interesting build. Just lots and lots of... Oh, it's a bee build because of the horse. The horse buffs summoned units. That's what they're going for here. Makes sense. And that summons... Oh. Well, unfortunately, you're gonna... All these little units are gonna make my... Are gonna make my badger huge because I get a lot of procs off of my camel. And yeah, my badger doesn't even have to lift a finger for that one. Alright, tier 5 animals, which also means tier 6 if we level them up. Ooh, and we have chocolate. Chocolate gives an animal +1 experience. It's like getting a copy of them, which means we can level up our camel. I think that is the smartest thing. And that also triggers a rabbit proc. Ooh, friend ahead casts their ability twice. Oh, our badger's been good to us. Don't get me wrong. Alright, I see some buffs here. I think this hippo, every time you knock out an enemy, gain +2 temporarily. What if we put the camel up? Actually, we put the camel at the front, so it does its thing. The hippo is the one that gets buffed up by the camel's things. No, we want to utilize this tiger. This tiger, and I think the camel. Actually, if we put the tiger behind the tiger would get buffed up to the 9s by the camel. Oh, unless we put... Oh, that's absolutely disgusting. I'm afraid I'm going to have to sell you, Badger, because you're good, but you're not great. Because this tiger behind this hippo, yeah, that's just kind of disgusting. We'll put you up here just to take out any like suicide leads. Like these scorpions have the poison attack, which can just insta-kill anything. So I don't want my keystone unit on the front in case they have a scorpion up front. Do I want another rabbit? I'll freeze it, but I think we're going to pair, yeah, we'll pair the camel. We're going to roll it. Also, because the presence of the crocodile, our enemies could have the crocodile, deal 7 damage to the last enemy. We don't want our vulnerable tiger in the last spot. If they munch the rabbit, I don't care. That's fine by me. But yeah, this could make our hippo unstoppable. What we also want is a good food buff for it. And I mean like a status buff, like garlic armor or something like that. So if we roll that, yes, we can freeze it. Another camel or a rhino. Or we could swap in a rhino for the hippo. Because if it kills something, it'll do 8 damage. And then if it does that again, I don't know. I need to think about that. Let's see how our hippo performs. And yes, we'll freeze the camel too. Versus the comedic clementines. Yeah, see here, suicide lead. This is what I'm talking about. That's why we didn't want to get our thing instantly iced. Fortunately, we didn't get enough hits off of that. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, I think. That was a rough one to run up against. That, not gonna lie there. They went heavy food build with a kangaroo. Can't win them all. But that's fine. You know what? In our next... I'm going to make this a 2-parter. This is just a 2-episode Pinstar Plays. See how you guys like this one. So in our next episode, we're going to do a run with the pack number 1 animals, the expansion pack. So let me know in the comments how you like these. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent, your feedback is always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar signing out. See ya!